St. Louis, Missouri. St. Louis, Missouri. From St. Louis, Missouri to
Yeah, I'm wearing red to represent the red state,
wow. Oh,
but
I'm
I'm
wearing
not.
blue.
I got the blues.
You got the blue. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Nicholas Tanek, and we are here with Kendra Holliday. Us, yes, yes, yes. We are honored. We're going to talk about kink. We're going to talk about sex. We're going to talk about being a surrogate partner. We're going to talk about writing. We're going to talk about kink. We are adults. This is a culture. It's a culture. It's a lifestyle. You know, you get it or you don't. One problem is a lot of you aren't getting it. So that's what we're here for. It's a culture. We don't. Everything we do is consensual, and that's very important. We want nothing to do with children. We're of age. We're adults living a lifestyle, a culture. Don't judge. Don't judge. Look deep inside yourself. Every decision, every piece of sadness is from someone even judging you or you judging them. Don't be so judgy. Get the facts. Get to know somebody. And get 15% off all inventory at lockedinlust.com. Go to yourkinkyfriends.com. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your kinky. Story. I have we're with Kendra Holliday. Kendra Holliday. Uh, I'm so stoked to talk with you, and you're going to give us some insight about what's going on in Missouri. So let's just start it off. Kendra, what's inspiring you
Hi.
these days?
Thank you so much for having me. And I want to thank previous guest many times, Dom Danielle, for introducing
Oh,
us.
yes. Well, we'll get into Dom Danielle. I love Dom Danielle. She's part of my. So, yeah, what's inspiring you these days, Kendra?
Oh, just about everything, I guess. I have a very rich career and sex life and all of the adult playtime kind of stuff, but I also very much believe in playtime in other ways. And I am one of those lifelong learners, and I just get inspired by so many things. And I love dipping into and spying on other subcultures and visiting new places and reading all the books that I can get my greedy little mitts on. And yeah, there's a lot. A lot.
Narcissistic Miss So says, "Afternoon, all. Uh, Thank you for joining us, Narcissistic Miss So. Your input is always appreciated in the chat. It's really cool. Let's just start it off talking about yo. Danielle here. So excited to listen. Danielle's here. So that's how I met you. That's how we're talking right now. Dom Danielle, the magnificent Dom Danielle. She's they are a character in the kink community. It's wonderful. I love talking with Dom Danielle. Love being on the show. Always something insightful. It's usually something funny, something kinky to say.
And
Awesome.
very real, very authentic,
Very,
very.
yeah. And that's what I
Mhm.
love. That's what I love about people like Dom Danielle. You know what you're getting. You know, I know that like she'll call me on my shit. You know what I mean? Which will make my shit better. Right. So shout out to Dom Danielle. So how did you two meet, which led to us meeting?
I haven't met Dom Danielle in real life, but we've been doing a lot of sex work activism for probably a decade or so. And we both are very passionate and activist in different realms. I know that Dom Danielle is very much into harm reduction and BDSM, and I am very much into supporting the local community and mentoring people and providing sex education and a safe space for people to explore their sexuality in such a sex negative and ignorant culture.
I feel you. I feel all eyes are watching me and they're judging.
Yeah,
You know what I
it's
mean?
Judge Judy.
No,
Mm-mm.
Judge Judy. Judge Judy. So, how would you say you became a sex positive activist?
Well, every time I do one of these interviews, I do a little bit of an inventory, and then I realize how rich and beautiful my life is and how interesting I am. And it's just wonderful to be able to live in this supposedly free country. I am one of the most free people I know, and I chose so many things to make that so. But I was brought up like so many of us. I probably need to give you a rundown of my history to get me to where I am now. Um, I'm one of the few people I know who was born in North Dakota. I don't know many people born in North Dakota, and that was in 1973. So my birthday is 3/23/73, and 3 is absolutely my magic number. I've had so many good threesomes, and I'm really good about the three-way stuff.
Three is a magic number. It's my favorite number. There are three basic shapes to life: the triangle, the circle, the square. Yes.
Yes. And I consider, we're going to just riff off each other, I'm sure, but I consider my breasts and my belly a triangle, and I consider my underarm hair and my pubic hair another feminine triangle. So again, all this 3 is very fortuitous and it's very beautiful. And getting back to North Dakota, I moved to Dallas for a little bit when I was a baby. And then when I was 6 years old, my family moved to St. Louis, Missouri. So I really grew up in St. Louis since I was 6 years old, kindergarten. And it was around that time that just giving you a little breakdown, I kind of go with my clients when I'm interviewing my clients for an intake. I like to break them down in decades as well. So I go 0 to 10, and then the teenage years and the 20s and the 30s and so forth. But when I was about 7 years old, I was molested, and a lot of people who have early sexual trauma, they will often become hypersexual, or they go the opposite way. And so I ended up being hypersexual. So once I was exposed to this sexuality, I definitely acted out as a kid. And then as I entered puberty, it turns out that I'm very hormonally sensitive. And so I had a really rough puberty. And I then entered my teenage years. And in my teenage years, I was really, before that, I was one of the nerds in school. So people picked on me a lot and called me a nerd. And I had the big Coke bottle glasses and crooked teeth. And I had only enough clothes. Like when I did my laundry, it was one load of laundry, and that's all the clothes I had. I grew up with a family of 5 kids or more, depending on what era we're talking about. And so anyway, so I was a nerd, picked on a lot. And so in high school, I decided that since everybody hated me, I decided that I would go punk rock. And then I ended up in high school doing the whole shaving half my head, coloring it all the different colors, wearing all black,
did all that,
safety pins in my skin, and doing all the shock value kind of stuff. And I also had a lot of trouble with my mental health because my parents, they were really dysfunctional as we were growing up. And during my teenage years, I was put in mental hospitals 3 times. And I was definitely struggling with a lot of things. And then also in high school, as I was sorting all that out, and all of this is just reporting, but everything has a happy ending. Like all of these things happen for a reason for me. And I've really taken a lot of these traumatic incidents and these bad situations and really figured out what I do and don't want in my life. And so, So in high school,
what was the diagnosis for? Because many people in my life are dealing with mental illness or have dealt with mental illness, or just people with it. What was the diagnosis that
For me, it was really a trickle down effect. So my dad was a very vanilla basic boy. He was very sweet and nice and nurturing. But my mother, and I love them both so much, but my mother really struggled with the patriarchy, and she was taught to get married and have kids. And then when she did that, it turned out to be a really bad idea for her. But she doubled down on it. She kept having more kids. And then she was one of those moms of the 70s and 80s who ended up being addicted to alcohol and prescription drugs and things like that. So when I saw all of that, I did not want to be like that, but it did depress me a lot to be living in that environment. It was very, it was very chaotic and awful. And so in my teenage years, I didn't drink, I didn't smoke, I didn't do any drugs because I saw my mom doing all of that and I didn't want any part of it. So I didn't get into drinking and stuff until later on, even after becoming a stripper. I didn't drink when I was a stripper even, but I'll get to that in a moment. But with the diagnosis, I was just environmentally depressed. I was emotionally and physically abused, and it was horrible. And so I was very, very depressed. And so that's why I ended up in the mental hospitals, because I was having a really awful time.
For some, let's take a little detour. For someone out there who's listening to this, who is in that situation right now, who's in that spiral, who's in an environment that they feel that they can't get out of, that mentally depressed, that they don't want to even wake up in the morning. You know what I mean? What would you say to them?
Well, I love Dan Savage and Kate Bornstein. They both have done some really good campaigns for It Gets Better. And Kate Bornstein wrote this book called Hello, Cruel World, and all these alternatives to ending your life. And so I love some of my role models that have taught a lot of these things, that when you're having a really, really bad situation, if you can wait it out enough, it'll eventually get better. If you're in a general middle class kind of environment, I know that people in different countries and different war zones and things, it's a whole different story, but I'm just speaking from a Midwest perspective. And my blessing, I noticed that when people fuck me over, when people do me bad, eventually I can sit down and write them a thank you note about it, because I've had so many people do that. And my mom was one example. I was miserable in that home. And at one point, I was 18 years old, graduated high school, and all of the kids had their different chores every week. And the chores had changed, but she was so out of her mind on drugs or whatever that she thought it was my turn to empty the dishwasher. And it wasn't my turn. That was last week, but she didn't know. So because I didn't empty the dishwasher, she kicked me out of the house. She put all my stuff in paper bags and put them on the front porch, and I was kicked out when I was 18 years old. And of course, I had no car, I had no money, I had nowhere to go, and I was just very much, that was a really betraying kind of event. But again, eventually it worked out. And so I'm so glad she did that, because I don't know. I didn't have any college aspirations. I didn't have any career aspirations. I didn't know what I wanted to do. So she forced the issue. And so when I was homeless, I ended up staying with some friends here and there. And then I eventually was able to rent a really shitty shotgun little house in South City with another person. And I moved in with that person who was not a very good person. And I was still trying to figure things out. I was very poor. I needed to find a job. I didn't have a car. So I just walked a mile radius around my place. And I finally found a job at a Howard Johnson hotel. And because I'm white, I got to work at the front desk. I think that they assign people, and I think that it's interesting. I just want to acknowledge pretty privilege and youth privilege and white privilege and all that kind of stuff. So I was working at the hotel, and I was determined to get a car. I did have a driver's license, and so I saved up as hard as I could, and I was able to put a down payment on a Geo Metro, one of the little cheapest skateboardy kind of cars, like a roller skate kind of thing. And as soon as I got that car, as soon as I got my wheels, I drove to the East St. Louis, and I walked into a strip club. and I was 19 at that time. And I went in and I said, hi, I don't have any tits and I can't dance, but could I be hired here? And they said yes, because I was pretty. And so then I was stripping for a year there. And again, I was estranged from my family. I was really still pissed off about them. And the place where I was living was a pretty hostile environment because my roommate had bad people over and it was not good. And then doing the stripping at age 19 and being completely sober was a real shock to the system. It was a culture shock for me because I grew up kind of in like West County, St. Louis, and I went to a pretty decent high school and so forth. So this was a whole different world. And I'm so glad that I documented it. I wrote these things down because I was exposed to people who would come in, and there was a morning shift at 11 o'clock where the first shift came in. And then there was a second shift and then finally the night shift. And I've never been a night person, so I chose to take one of the day shifts. And I would see my coworkers come in and immediately start taking shots to get through the day. And I saw biker chicks who were branded, and I saw mother and daughter working there. And I saw so many different people that were struggling, and people who had boyfriends, single moms, and so forth. And here I was. I didn't even know anything, but if you go to thebeautifulkind.com, you can read my document of this experience of stripping for a year. It's, I think it's called My Stripper Story or something, and it's one of my grim pieces. I don't sugarcoat it. A lot of my blog posts, I have over 700 on thebeautifulkind.com, are very positive and upbeat, and they really capture my tone, but this one is not. Like, this one is really detailing one of the worst years of my life. But I was making money.
Narcissistic Miss So says 12 steps groups can help along with therapy. We're always trying to help people. That's why I needed to.
Yeah. I was in Al-Anon with my mom's situation, and I didn't get it at the time. As a teenager, I thought I was being punished. So it is nice to have support groups and different things in your community that you can go to help you cope with different things that we have to deal with. Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you about what was your vision for the Sex Positive St. Louis organization?
Well, I'll really, if you're going to ask me that, I'll fast forward really fast that when I decided I didn't want to strip anymore, I saw a lot of women in a revolving door situation. The money was good and they kept coming back. And when I saw that, I said, I am not ever coming back. When I leave here, I'm not coming back. And so I did pack up my heels and my stockings and all that stuff, and I took off, and I ended up going into nursing school and trying to figure out a way to make a living. And I do like taking care of people and helping people. So I do have some nursing background. However, I worked in nursing homes and pediatric ICU and skilled nursing, and I did these different jobs. And I realized that it really was very hard to do that every single day, being under these harsh fluorescent lights and dealing with children who were needing blood transfusions and these older people who were falling on the floor, all that stuff. So then I kept trying to elevate myself to get to a place where I wanted to be. So it goes on and on and on. And I've had some day jobs, and I did have a rescue mentality. I was in such a bad state living in this little place that didn't have central heat and central air conditioning and had cockroaches. And it was just really a dire living situation. So I was dating different people, and then I found somebody who was my Prince Charming, and he swept me away from that bad place and took me back to West County, which is the nice area. And at age 21, I got engaged with him. And then when I was 23, we got married, and I spent my whole 20s being completely monogamous and vanilla. And I was told by the social script that I'm supposed to, once you get married, you're supposed to have kids, you're supposed to have a house, you're supposed to maybe get a cat or a dog, and you're supposed to be vanilla, and all of that fun sex adventures that I had had up to that point is over. And so I did that for the years of my 20s. And then it was around 30 years of age when I had my daughter, and she was 2 years old. And I realized that this was not for me. Like I had one kid, and I'm really glad I had the experience of being pregnant and giving birth and breastfeeding and all of that. But I realized that it was not a good deal. And my mom also got that memo, but she doubled down, as you remember. So she kept having more and more kids, thinking it would help her solve like, I don't know, like she just got more and deeper. But when it happened to me, I was like, fuck this noise, I'm getting out of here. And I freaking up and like blew up my marriage, and I ran away and did all that stuff. So my 30s was my decade of exploration of the lifestyle. Once I realized that just because you got married and have kids, you can still be a freak and you can still have great sex and you can still explore. That's when I was a kid and a candy whore. It was so fun. And I learned about swinging and all the different things. But all this time, I didn't cheat on my ex-husband until the very end of our marriage. But in high school, I cheated on people and people cheated on me. And it was a cheating, like that's the way we do it in our country, a lot of people. And so it was in my 30s that I discovered polyamory. Oh my gosh, I don't have to be an asshole anymore.
Yes, you don't have to be an asshole.
I felt like I found the Holy Grail. I found the elixir of life. I found that you don't have to do this thing that everyone is doing. You can write your own story. You can make your own rules, and you can be respectful and ethical and enjoy life in a way that a lot of people deny themselves. So that's where I got inspired to get into the sex positive movement, because I was so sick of and pissed off about the way our culture is so double standard, with especially with women and different and the LGBTQ and all these people that get vilified constantly. And then all the sex in movies and all the sex in songs, and then you don't get good sex ed in school, and it's just like it's just such a mind fuck to me. And so I'm like, no. And so that's why I wanted to provide a place where people can have a positive experience when it comes to sexuality, because it's normal.
So are you living a polyamorous lifestyle as we speak?
What's that?
Are you living a polyamorous lifestyle now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been polyamorous for the past 15 or 20 years. Oh, by the way, I'm 52.
Oh, I'm going to turn 50 in August. It is August, so I'm turning 50 this
Yay.
month. I haven't turned yet. And thank you. I have to say thank you very, very much for everybody at the Manor, specifically Miss J, for this magnificent cake that she made me. But thank you to everybody at the Manor, Mr. Shari, Catnaboy, Peyton, everybody. There's too many to name. But thank you so much. What a great barbecue yesterday. And I also want to shout out the Dom Cat. The Dom Cat. I could not make it to the wrestling and feminization event, but my heart was there, waiting to get pounded and trash talked to. My corset already. Thank you for letting me take that break. So polyamory. What are some ways? First of all, what's the biggest misconception that you've encountered regarding polyamory and your polyamorous relationship?
Oh, gosh. I just want to say again that cheating and being sneaky and hiding and having guilt and shame attached to sexuality, it really sucks. And so polyamory is a way to practice ethical non-monogamy. And I think that the biggest misconception is that, God, I want to say the one that everyone says that we're not that we're having sex all the time, but I am having sex all the time. Like I'm having the best life. I'm having a great time because why not? What else is a misconception? One thing I want to say is that a lot of times with swingers and people that and boyfriends and husbands that want to open up their marriage or want to bring their they want to have swinging and parties and group sex and everything. Oftentimes the woman is very reluctant to get involved because of the way our society is set up, that men are very much given permission to get what they want, ask what they want. It's very entitled. It's very much a patriarchal world out there. And women often don't even know what their pleasure is. They don't even know what they like. And they're very, they have to kind of go along like that. But the funny thing is that oftentimes these men will open up and then they're wife or girlfriend or whatever goes to the party and she's the belle of the ball. And so he has to drag her to the party, but then she doesn't want to leave because she's getting all the good stuff. She's getting all, and then he's over here like, I only came once or whatever and stuff. So that's a big thing. And also when they open up a relationship, oftentimes the woman is just inundated with dick and pussy and all the good stuff. And the man is like, a lot of men they don't bring something to the table. Like they need to really, become mature masculine, and they need to really know what it really is to be a person with feelings and to be a good partner. And so that's a very common thing that I see in my work and in my community.
I cannot stress that enough. I thank you for pointing that out too. Men, bring something to the table. Seriously, not just kinksters in general. No, you can't just go there and expect something without bringing something to the table, even if it's money. Still, bring something. Have something like,
your penis is not going to cut it because penis is plentiful and cheap. Like penis is, you can get penis anywhere, and everyone's got wonderful genitals, but you need to have something more than that.
Penises are plentiful and cheap. Penises. Can I quote that? I'm quoting that one. Penises are plentiful and cheap.
And don't you notice that pussies are treasure troves? Don't you notice that everyone's trying to get back in them all the time? And don't you notice that breasts are like the moon? And every time you see breasts, it's like seeing the moon. It never gets old.
No, it doesn't. And I'm just so thankful that they're there.
And we get 2 of them for most of our lives if we're lucky.
So, okay, one thing that's, you have, like I say, there's a fire that certain people have, and I love it, like this sexual energy, just kind of, which I love. I go to vanilla places sometimes. I do. It's true. If you got to watch your tongue sometimes, and you can't, like, especially with all my friends are like putting men in dresses, locking their cocks up in chastity. The word pain slut doesn't really come in the pharmacy, or like, it could be. It's like, oh, you like this? Oh yeah, I'm a pain slut. I'll take it. Maybe that's stretching, but like not really talk about like enemas in the kinky way. You know what I mean? Or toilet coffins. So do you ever find yourself saying the wrong thing? Or
wait, you made me laugh about toilet coffins because there are a couple things I have not done, and one is a glory hole, and I've not done a toilet coffin. So anyway, but what was your question?
I see Mistress Claudia. I think she got one to get rid of. So if you want to use one, you don't want to use.
I do. I have a sissy who came and he installed a new toilet for me wearing the sissy clothes, and then he was given the gift, like he paid for this experience because he got to be in my intimate chamber, and he was able to take home my old toilet as a souvenir, and so the toilet seat, and so that was very nice. That worked out really well for both of us.
He was able to take my old toilet as a souvenir.
And it's interesting that people who are into women, they crave female energy so badly if they're into women, and it manifests in so many different ways, so he likes very primal. He likes to sniff a natural body. He likes to get into he's like a little pig pen, he's like that. And then other people are really into sensual, natural women and hairy underarms. Some are into panties, some are into woman in power. And so it just is interesting that I've seen so many different versions of that. And so that's why I want to, as a 52-year-old woman, I refuse to give up my radiance. I'm going through menopause, but I'm taking estrogen, and it's keeping me very supple. And I love my feminine, and that is my archetype is queen, and I love that. I want to be as feminine as possible. And when I think about my most masculine feature, I think it might be my personality. I don't know, because I have a lot of lady friends who are very much my age and shutting it down, and they don't have to, they don't want to, but of course, whoever,
yes, you're not. This is you're an inspiration, right? Love
I
it.
try.
And you are. You are also.
A leader goes where she wants others to follow.
That's true. That's true. I want to talk about you being a surrogate partner, but you mentioned sissies. So has your opinion changed of sissies throughout the year? The whole sissification narrative?
Gosh, that's a good question because I've been exposed to that sort of thing for such a long time. And I really have seen so many different fetishes in different ways. Like I've hosted a sissy tea party before where there were 8 sissies there. And one showed up as a very much man off the street and he just put a slip on. And then another person showed up full wedding regalia, including a diamond ring and a tiara and everything. So it went a whole range. And I've seen so many different sissies. And I just think I feel bad for sissies because I am able to walk down the street in a sundress and no one will bat an eye. They don't question it. But if a man were to walk down the street, they would just get heckled and made fun of. And I feel bad for that because it's the most freeing feeling. And also I'm a nudist. So I will say it pisses me off that I see all these guys riding bikes shirtless and mowing their lawns shirtless. And if I walk down the street without a shirt on, I would be arrested. So there's a lot of different weird, doesn't make stuff going on in our society. But yeah, so I think I pity men for a lot of reasons. And a lot of men, they look like they fight in the Civil War because they're wearing blue and gray all the time. They're wearing these like somber colors, and they're always wearing t-shirts and shorts or khakis, and it's so boring. And I love that I can wear costumes and I can wear pretty colors and I can adorn myself with all of my jewelry and things. And I want that for everybody. And I feel sorry for women too, because we get assaulted all the time and we get, like it's the worst to be a woman in our society, but it helps to have privilege. It helps to be in certain tiers,
You are a surrogate partner.
Yes.
Right? So there's surrogate partner therapy. What is being a surrogate partner like? How does it different from traditional sex therapy or other forms of intimacy coaching?
Yeah, so I just want to state really clearly that I don't have any degrees or letters after my name. I'm not certified or anything like that. Everything that I'm about has been organic, and I do a lot of my own continuing education. And so I do identify as a sex worker, and I do different types of sex work. And one type of sex work is surrogate partner work. Other surrogate partners, and I think there's about 100 in the country, and I'm not sure about the world. They don't necessarily identify as a sex worker. They identify more as a therapist type person. But I think it's sex work. I'm okay with that. But the misconception about surrogate partner work is that a lot of people think that it's all about sex. And I do get that. I get people contacting me, mostly men, who want a foot in the door and they say they want surrogate partner work, but they just really want to have sex. And so it used to be called a sex surrogate, but we've changed that name to surrogate partner because we don't want to lead with sex, because people, when they hear sex, like they go boom like that, they get activated really quick. But what we want to know is that like surrogate partner is not entertainment. It's meant to be therapeutic. It's meant to really help people. It's meant to teach people the sex education they never received. It's meant to offer people experiences that they haven't had access to. A lot of people who have disabilities, physical disabilities, and different levels of autism and social awkwardness and inexperience, adult virgins. A lot of people have missed out on a lot of the things that we've taken for granted ever since we were teenagers in college and all of that. So it's really important to know that this is really, it's very respectful work. It's very, I don't want to use words like sacred and all that, but I really believe that we should leave people better than we found them. And so with surrogate partner work, people contact me who are going through a transition. They might be a recent widower or going through a divorce. They may have their confidence and self-esteem in the toilet because of all the abuse they've endured over the years of this deteriorating marriage. And so they don't even know who they are anymore. Or maybe their whole life they've thought they've had a micro penis or something, and they need to get with somebody and really maybe an experienced person who can actually give them honest, respectful feedback about their performance, their abilities, and their body image issues. Some people have really put themselves on a hold shelf for decades and have not participated in a society because they think they don't deserve it or they don't belong there. And it's so wonderful to find someone like me in St. Louis when most of the surrogate partners are on the East Coast, West Coast, and other areas. But I'm happy to represent the Midwest. They don't have the frame of reference. And it's just really nice to be able to sit down with somebody. And that brings me to the way I do. I have a protocol in place where I have probably
walk us through the typical, therapy.
Yeah, I get about 10 inquiries a day, and I try to respond to as many ones that sound legit as possible. But there is a queue, there is a waiting list. I can't keep up. I'm just one person, and so I do the best I can. And so that's why I put certain words on my website, like "Thank you for your patience," and I'll try, because there's a lot of need for this. There's a lot, our loneliness epidemic and our isolation and siloing in our society is getting worse and worse and worse. And so what happens is I get an inquiry. And if it's not one that says, grunt, grunt, I want a prostate massage right now and come deliver it to me. I get those inquiries all the time. I'm not a pizza.
They really spell out prostate massage, like PROS.
They say slice of heaven or something, whatever. But they want it's so to me, this is so weird to me. I don't know what it's like to be like, let's say there's a Jim or a Steve or a John who contacts me and they say, I want to have sex with you. And the only thing I know about them is their first name. And I don't even know if it's their first name. So why would I agree to share intimacy with someone I don't even know, sight unseen and so forth? And by the way, when I was an escort for a few months as a fun social experiment, I did fuck people sight unseen. I did do that. And it never felt right to me. It always felt very jarring. It felt like I could do it. I was good at it, but it never felt good. Like it always felt kind of scary to me. Like it was just like, this doesn't seem humanity to me. Like, you screen people, but still, you never know when you open the door what you're going to be dealing with. And so what I do with a surrogate partner or my other sex work or whatever different, I do fetish work and pro-dom work too, but people contact me and then I send them my spiel, how do you work with me? And it goes through the steps and it talks about my availability, when I'm booking, and in order to work with me, you have to send a deposit, and I give them some payment methods to send the deposit. And that's part of the screening process. And once they send the deposit and we figure out availability and stuff, then I meet with them for a talking consult, an intake interview with them. And so that 1 hour, they're paying for it, but I feel like no matter what, and most times we do end up working intimately together, but not always. No matter what, they're getting value out of that time because they get to spend time with me. They get to have my time, my energy, my expertise. I can offer them so many different resources and ideas. I'm very connected in the community. And so it's very easy for me because a lot of these people are coming from a very vanilla world. They don't even know some of this stuff exists. And so for me, it's just nice to have that higher level awareness. And so during that time of the talking consultation, I like to find out their current situation. And to be clear, surrogate partners all work in very different ways. I have my own method, my own protocol, as I mentioned, but some surrogate partners only work in conjunction with a licensed therapist. And that is called the triadic model.
Yeah. So you're not part of this therapist, surrogate, and client type model.
I have a few therapists, counselors in the St. Louis area who refer clients to me, but I don't have to have that in place for me to do my work. I do work independently. And of course, there's reasons for that. You want to keep people safe. You want to keep the ethics in place. You want to, all that. And so other surrogate partners only work with queer people or non-binary people. You know, we all have our different ways of doing things. Some only work with someone 6 sessions, period. You know, everyone has a different thing, but I tend to be very fluid, and I think every case is individual. And so I love to have the structure in place of the intro consult. And again, I'm getting their current situation. Oh, that's where I was getting at. Some surrogate partners refuse to work with someone who is partnered with somebody, because a surrogate partner is a substitute partner. And for them, it is ethically wrong to get with someone who's married or, you know, that kind of stuff. But I choose to work with people who I think could really benefit from what I have to offer. So I get current situation, and then I like to get as much in that hour as I can about their past history, religious upbringing, their family, and just all the different things that helps figure out what makes them tick and what their baggage is and what they've dealt with in the trauma in their lives. And then finally, most importantly, I want to find out why they came to see me. What are their future goals? What do they want to get out of these sessions? What's going on here? And so again, most people have had their share of trauma in their lives, and they have had, because of our society, the way it's worked out, the way it's so fucked up, a lot of people have a lot of anxiety, which causes erectile dysfunction, rapid ejaculation, body dysmorphia, and so many different things that that we have to deal with. And then,
so this surrogate partner versus the pro dom work. What have you been doing more of these days?
I like surrogate partner work better. I prefer that because I'm a healer with my nursing background. I really like helping people and being in a caregiving role. I like nurturing. I like kind of being the mommy kind of thing, but that also segues into pro dom work. I'm a certain type of pro dom where I don't like to be in a session, and I've done many of these in the past, where I have been worn out beating someone so hard, or going through so many really elaborate things to achieve someone's fantasy. I personally want to be a natural woman, and I'm not the type to get up into like thigh high stiletto boots and corsets and things. To me, that is like, that's insulting to me, because it's like they're treating me like a dress up doll or something. And I also find those things to be very restraining and constraining and very stereotypical. And so I would like to bring people into more of a natural state when they're doing this kind of stuff. Even if it's the pro dom stuff, it's still power exchange, and it's very much psychological as much as it is physical and emotional and all that good stuff.
What would be like a new? I'm trying to imagine a nudist femdom retreat. You know, think about that. Right? Let's talk about.
I'm a nudist. I love being naked.
Make it happen.
I'm naked as much as I possibly can.
Make it, promote it on the show. Let's make it happen. Let's talk about St. Louis. So St. Louis. First of all, before we get into the St. Louis, what's the most rewarding moment that you've had experienced through the community that you've started at Sex Positive St. Louis?
Yeah, I co-founded it with a few other people back in 2010 because we saw all these cool groups happening in Seattle and Los Angeles and New York City, and we saw nothing like that in St. Louis or the Midwest. And so we wanted to create a bridge. We want to bridge that gap. And so when we started off in 2010, there were 4 of us. And within a month, we had our first happy hour mixer, and 100 people showed up. And then it kept growing and growing. And so we've peaked already. We've had some really epic events and really successful stuff. And I'm going to tell you my favorite one. But at this point, in 2025, after 15 years, we're starting to wind down a little bit. We've tried so many times to find replacements to us because we're all getting into our 50s, and we want to find younger people who are as enthusiastic and passionate about this. But we've tried a few people, and they do it for a little bit and then they fizzle out. So I don't know if we're going to continue it. I don't know if we're going to have a big blowout party in 2026 what is it, 30, like make it a 20-year run, because we tried to keep it going. But at the time, we're still doing monthly meetups. We're still doing get-togethers. And we do have a meetup page with over 5,000 members on it, which is unbelievable. That's incredible. But in general, we get about 50 or 100 people coming to our events. But the most rewarding time we've ever had was in 2014 when we hosted a naked bowling party. And it was, yeah, we were able to find a bowling alley that rented out to us so that we could have a private event. And we had naked bowling, and it got in the news. And then it made national news. It was on CNN. And then it kind of created a brouhaha about, is this okay? What about the children and all that crap? Which, of course, it was a private event. And we just wanted to pick the most ridiculous thing you could do naked. And that was it. And it was so much fun. And we would love to do more of those, but now no bowling alleys will return our calls. So that was wonderful. And we've done so many great demos. We've done pegging demos and blowjob demos and fisting demos. And there you go. Oh my gosh, that's my friend. She's a dear.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, that happens sometimes.
I didn't push the button.
You didn't. I was trying to get that out of the way.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thank you for looking that up.
Yeah. You're very welcome. All right, where were we? We're talking naked bowling. So, how did you take us through the naked bowling thing? You got. Were there any moments that like you'll always remember specifically about naked bowling?
Oh, we had a really cute photographer there, and he took some really great pictures of us. And there's some pictures that I treasure because it's really nice to see these things actually happen, just having the archive, the documents of these things. And he took this really cute picture of me and one of the co-founders, David Wraith. He's one of my dear, dear friends. And we were both holding bowling balls to make it street legal. So we had a bowling ball here and we were posed together, and that was really cute and sweet. And again, just that it made national news, and just all in the fun moments, like it was just so freeing and fun and diverse. And yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, I don't know how many naked bowling parties there have been in this country. I don't know if that's the only one or if it's been done other places, but it's fun to be the first. Yeah,
I was looking that up. You started a trend. There was one in Pittsburgh recently, I guess.
Oh my gosh, jealous.
Or I think Philly. Yeah, make it see, you're making it happen.
East Coast has got it going on. I bet their bowling alley is nice and gritty.
Yes, yes, nice and gritty. So let's talk about St. Louis. St. Louis, how do you have such inclusive events with because you are in a state that you said is a red state, and yeah, so
yeah,
how do you make it so open and inclusive?
There's a highway that goes from St. Louis to Kansas City. It's Highway 70, and a lot of people will go Highway 70 to Columbia, Missouri, which is a college town, pretty progressive, and then go to Kansas City, but they will not go north or south of that because it's just full of people that are not very progressive or accepting. And so, of course, Kansas City and St. Louis, we are little blue dots on this red state, and we're constantly fighting all these people who are pearl clutching and just acting like there was a recent play party that was in the news that I was not involved in, but it made the news because it was at a private home, and there were people that interviewed, and they were like, well, once you have play parties and people are having sex, then people are being murdered and people are doing drugs, and then children are involved. They just conflate it so quickly. And it's just like, oh my God, like, why don't you just mind your own fucking business? You don't even know what you're talking about. All the play parties I've been to, and I've hosted several that were epic. I know that word is like awesome or something, but it's wonderful. And the inclusiveness. So I represented for a long time the middle-aged white lady mom county woman, but we've had co-founders and leaders in our Sex Positive St. Louis who represented the queer and Black and city and different they brought different people and energies, and we worked really hard to become more and more inclusive. And we learned along the way about finding venues that are accessible and finding venues that are Black supported businesses and different, and we try to, you know, spread the love around. And yeah, so it's, I'm really proud of that, because we are very segregated. There's a lot of racism and things, but we really love that we are so, and we, Sex Positive St. Louis is an umbrella. We teach all the things. We're not pro polyamory. We're not pro that, you know, we're not trying to preach or proselytize or recruit people at all. We have had asexual discussions. We've had so many different, you know, living with HIV and dating and so many different things that are represented, because we know that sex positive is not about like having sex. Sex positive is accepting people for who they are, including yourself. That's my definition of sex positive.
You're right. You're right. Beautiful.
I'm sorry. We've had some people come up to us timidly and say, "Do you allow monogamous people?" And yes, we do.
You're right. You're very prolific with your blog. So tell us about the beautiful kind. Why is the beautiful kind? And what did you do with your dad?
Oh,
you got him a sex worker?
Yeah, so I have had the beautiful kind. This is the most recent iteration that's been around since 2011, but I've been blogging and having a sex blog since 2008 or so. And it's cute because like I have family values. I do believe in my, like I'm very loyal to my family, and I was a caregiver to my parents and so on. But I will say before I get into my dad's situation, the reason why my blog is called The Beautiful Kind is because when I was a younger mother and my daughter was about 5 years old, we were driving and she was in the back seat, and she was very clever and precocious and everything. I thought she was so cute, quoting everything. And so she was in the back seat, we were driving, and then she said, "Mommy?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "What kind of people are we?" And I was like, I don't know. Like, what kind of question is that? So then I'm like, I'm not sure. And then she thought about it for a moment and she piped up, "I know, we're the beautiful kind of people." And I was like, that's it, you know? And so everyone is the beautiful kind. And when I have my talking consultation, there's a banner that I had a friend make that says, "You are the beautiful kind." So when someone's sitting on my therapist couch, not really, they see that, and they see different symbolism and different things that represent this mission and this sex positive world. So, so then that was back when she was 5. She's 25 now. So it's been 20 years, and she's an adult and she's successful and independent and she's living her life. And I'm really proud of her. So my parents, as you recall, at the beginning of this interview, I talked about how my mom had a lot of mental health issues and addiction issues. Over time, she did develop dementia from alcohol use and head injuries and things like that. But the cute thing is that she became very childlike in the last parts of her years. And so I was able to dote on her and care for her. And the family came together, and we would, you know, it was just really sweet that we worked so hard to give her the best quality life she could have. And so when she died in 2019, and she died on her own terms, and I helped with that process. I was her death doula in the hospital. Then when she died, my dad was developing dementia. And oftentimes I've noticed that when someone's already having cognitive impairment, when they have trauma, especially multiple traumas, it really shakes up their brain. It shreds it in some way, and that it can really accelerate the process. So my dad lived for about 3 years after my mom, and his dementia, and he had vascular dementia, it declined very quickly. And he was desperately lonely. He was so lonesome. And so he was in assisted living and then memory care. And he was so lonely that things that were really important to him, I tried to honor and help him out. So some people put someone away in a nursing home or assisted living, and they visit them once a week or once a month or never. Like they put them away. And I was not that way, because I thought he's still, even though his brain is different now and he's changed so much, he still has value and he still deserves quality of life and experiences and pleasure. So I would take him out for ice cream and oysters, and he had beer and cigars, and he did all the things, and he was very much still included. But one thing that was so important to him was sex. He was so lonely. So I did hire a sex worker for him because I'm in the sex work community. I knew some people, and I have really beautiful colleagues in the St. Louis area. And I interviewed a couple of them and said, would you be willing to work with someone with dementia who happens to be my father? And she did, and she became his angel. And in the story, I call her Susan, and she was his angel. And she visited him once or twice a month. And it was a little awkward for me because he had such memory issues. I had to schedule it. I had to help him, but I let him be as independent as possible. I helped him be able to have the money for her and different things. And we had to navigate the facility where he was. And but I tell you what, that was his happiest moments. Every time he had an experience like that, he would call me up and he'd say, oh my God, we had the best time. And I'm like, I don't need to hear more. I'm glad you had a good time. And then he's like, when's the next one? Come on, when's the next one? And we'd schedule the next one. And then he had something too. And then he forgot about it. And then it was just like always having a new birthday present and a gift. And it was just wonderful. And so I'm so happy. He died in 2023, and he was able to enjoy those pleasures that he deserved. And I wish, and that's why I put it on my blog to encourage other people, because intellectual disability and cognitive impairment and different neurological stuff, it's so taboo and stigmatized in our society about consent and things like that. So it is a delicate issue, but I was my dad's seeing eye brain. I knew him better than anybody, and we trusted each other so much that I was able to know these things, and I was able to trust the person that was his guardian angel. And it was wonderful. And I think that it'd be nice for more people to have access to that kind of thing.
Thank you for telling the story. Thank you for writing about it. Thank you for expressing and showing the positive outcome that can come from all of this, come from this lifestyle as well. That's very important. The joy.
Think outside the cage, I say. Think outside the cage. Everyone's putting themselves in cars and cubicles and just getting so, like, let's come together and let's have real life experiences and let's fuck AI for as long as we can. I mean, not fuck AI. Like, I'm scared of that and stuff, but some people are really leaning into it. But I'm not
just from you, just the joy that you came out that shined from you just by saying that, and then seeing Don Danielle in the chat. I love this. What I mean? Thank you very much. So we're gonna lighten things up and get kinky. Rapid fire kink advice.
Oh God.
Okay. We're gonna start off slow.
Okay.
This is a whimsical show. It's a whimsical show.
I love whimsy.
You tie someone up and their arm starts to go numb. What do you do?
I hate rope bondage. It's not my thing. I think other people love it. They have a whole art form. So I do Velcro, and they don't ever get numb, and it's soft, and that way they don't get horrible rope burns that they go home with or something, So that's not applicable to me. I have my own way of restraining.
Rapid fire kink advice. A sub shows up way too high. What do you do?
Well, St. Louis doesn't have good public transit, so they'd probably have driven to the place. So that would be a big concern. But I've never had that situation myself, but I certainly would improvise, adapt, and overcome, and try to get the person into a safe situation and still get paid for my time. But I would change course. I wouldn't do what we had negotiated. I would definitely get into mother mode and get them into a place. But I've never had to experience that, thank goodness, because I imagine they would pass out for a while or something or become obnoxious, or I don't know.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Rapid fire kink advice. Rapid fire kink advice. A sub, someone met someone else online, and they want to give all of their money. They just keep on giving all of their money to them, their life savings. What do you tell them?
I don't believe in sex addiction, but to me, when it gets to the point where you're raiding your college or kids' college fund or your retirement or something like that, that's a serious concern. And that's something that sex workers, we have different ways of getting in touch with each other, and we alert people so that they are aware of that and they can not keep that going. Although I've heard that if someone wants to give their money away, if you're not going to take it, they're going to give it to somebody. Someone's going to take it. There's plenty of people out there exploiting people. So I think that that is definitely a real red zone situation. And I would definitely tell them to find some sort of counseling that deals with addiction, because that sounds like really compulsive behavior.
Okay. A dom, is talking about robbing a fellow kinkster. What do you do?
What? Why would they do that? I've had clients go to places and get ripped off or stood up, or someone else shows up that's not the person they thought they were. I don't know. Like that to me is so. That's not leaving people and places and things better than you found them. So I'm not going to call the cops or anything, but God, I don't know. I don't know people like that. Thank goodness.
Okay. No, that's a solid answer. Okay. A client wants to pay a normal hourly rate, but all they want to do is talk politics, aggressively talk politics about a subject, in a stance that you do not agree with at all.
One thing I love about my job is that I get to spend time with people I wouldn't normally spend time with. So I do have some gun nuts, and I have some people who have my pillow guy sheets, and some people. And so if they wanted to talk about that stuff, I think I'm pretty good at holding space for people, because I do want to hear other people's points of view. And if they just want to unload on me and pay me for that time, I've had worse things happen to me. And if they want to hear my take on it, I have changed people's minds before, because a lot of Republican golf players love sex and they seek out sex workers. And it's nice to teach them that we are humans and lovely and compassionate and all that stuff.
AI and kink. How are you evolving with it? How are you evolving with AI?
I know eventually it's going to come up and get me, but for now I'm avoiding it, and I'm not going to Perplexity or Chat GPT or doing any of that stuff. I am boycotting that for as long as possible until it gets into my brain somehow. And then I'm like everybody else that thinks it's the greatest thing. So I think it's really scary. And Dan Savage just did a really great interview on his Savage Lovecast podcast, interviewing another person talking about AI and the way it is right now and how it's evolving. And it really gave my brain a total twist, and I couldn't even follow it. It was so... Oh gosh, I'm really scared about all that stuff. But I hope it does more harm than good, but it doesn't. I don't know, man. I don't know. I like being a human being and a primate, okay? Like, I like body hair. I like feelings. I like body fluids. I like all that stuff. And people are turning into robots, and I don't like that.
Let's talk about armpit hair for a second. You're
Yes.
known for taking any pictures with your armpits hair, and you're very proud of it. Natural. I used to smoke pot with a lot of hippies, and the girls never shaved their armpits, and she'd be like, "They're alive. It's alive. I don't want to murder."
I will tell you, one of my huge fetishes is body hair. Like, I love body hair. I love a hairy chest. I love body hair so much. And everyone has their own choice on their bodies. But I will say, interestingly, when I shaved my head shiny bald in 2011 as a social experiment, I noticed that the men who were into bald women fetishes were fucking assholes. They were horrible, controlling, mean, cruel. They tried to, like, I didn't even know them, and they'd say, "You need to shave your head again." Like, they were such jerks. And so I learned that they see it as a degradation, a humiliation, and something like a objectifying kind of thing. Hairy underarms, the men are lovely. They are fucking lovely. They know a woman who does this is confident and she's natural, and they love that sort of thing. And I will tell you that I used to shave my armpits bald for a long time because I was told that's what women do. But then I noticed that when it grew out, it's an erogenous zone for me. So like right now I'm masturbating right in front of everyone, the camera right here. Like, this is electric for me. Like I have 3 pussies. These are 2 and 1 down there. And these you can look at and the other one you can't see. But I love it. And when I shave them bald, I don't have that same sensation. So it's right next to my breast, which is very convenient. So if I am clean and no deodorant, I love them being nuzzled and licked and worshipped and stuff. And I like lots of parts like that. But
Nice. I love that. Thank you very much. And I'm sure a bunch of people out there love that too. All right. Would you rather? You have to choose one or the other, can you?
Oh, God.
You can't choose both.
I'm greedy. Oh, my gosh.
Okay.
Okay. I'll try.
Would you rather? All right. You got a session coming on. Is it all psychological or all physical? Physical. Can't be one or the other. It can't be both. It can't be a mix.
I do more psychological, mental. Yeah.
Okay. Would you rather? Would you rather? Would you rather experiment with a new kink in a session or just do the standards?
God, you're killing me. Oh my gosh. I guess do a standard because I'm good at it. I know, like I can do it in my sleep.
That's a solid answer. It's a solid answer. And you know, there's comforting. It's comforting to know that you're good at something and you do it right. You know. Would you rather, Kendra? Would you rather have a detailed planned session or a spontaneous session?
I like knowing what to expect, so I prefer a detailed planned session.
Kendra, would you rather sensory deprivation, that includes blindfolds, earplugs, or sensory overload, feathers, ice, hot wax in session?
Deprivation, because then they get to wake up more parts of their body.
Great answer. You I love your energy. Sunshine in the chat said that she loves your smile and your energy. I do too. I think a lot of that comes from taking care of yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm confident and I have lots of orgasms and I take estrogen and I have mood swings and I definitely have good days and bad days. But I'm like I said, I'm a free person. I get to do whatever I want within the realm of, you know, ethics and stuff. And so I love it. I have not limited myself in my joy.
Do you have any self-care rituals? Like every morning I have a ritual that is really helping me. It truly is. Like physically, emotionally helping me accomplish stuff. I'm having good shows and I'm writing again. I think it's great. Do you have any self-care rituals?
Yeah, I do have a morning routine. So I have bad insomnia. So I get up in the morning and usually around 6 a.m. when I get up for the last time or whatever. And so the first thing I do is get out my magic wand and I have my first orgasm of the day. That gets the blood flowing, that gives me energy, that gets the hormones in line, and then maybe I will have something to drink like a coffee but I don't really do caffeine too much. But then I do my morning routine, and one thing that I do with it being a heat wave right now, I get up before the sun comes up as often as I can, and I walk my neighborhood and I dress like a hobo or I dress like a slob and I take 10,000 steps around the neighborhood and I do Pokemon Go. I've been playing Pokemon Go since 2016 and I love my neighborhood. I love my community and my neighbors. And so I do outside time and walking. And then I have to do all my morning chores before I see clients or whatever. And so those things are self-care. And then of course, bathing, water, energy, different things like that are very nice to take care of myself. And I like my one bad habit, my one bad thing is that I do drink alcohol. And I know that is poison, it's bad, but I do drink alcohol, but I try to eat healthy and I try to keep on top of everything. But I'm not one of those people to fall for all the fads and the supplements and all that, because I think all that stuff is just taking advantage of people.
Speaking of, ingesting healthy things into our body, like alcohol, if you're going to be an ice cream flavor, like Ben and Jerry, kind of like a Ben and Jerry's flavor, but they're not going to sponsor this. But what would be the name and what would be in it?
Oh, okay. I got an answer because when my daddy was dying and he was on hospice, and he really, I was there. I was also his death doula. And one thing that he asked for, and his brain was really going out, and he had aphasia. He couldn't say words and stuff. And one time he was lying in bed and he mumbled, "I want some Charlene's and cream." So it sounded like Charlene's and cream, but he meant, I knew what it meant. It was pralines and cream. And so I went out and got him a pint of pralines and cream, and he ate the whole thing, and he ate another one. So he enjoyed things like that up until the 3 days before he died. So I would be Charlene's and cream.
What would be in it? What would be in your?
Well, definitely some milky, creamy goodness, and maybe a bit of nutty stuff because I'm a little bit of a nut. And cinnamon. I like cinnamon. And yeah, I don't know. That sounds good.
Creamy cinnamon nut. Okay. There was a Kink Olympics. You are in control of one event. You're the what event is it?
Oh my goodness. Oh God.
You're the creator.
Oh, this is hard. So I really love prostate massage. So maybe it would be a prostate Olympics, because I think a lot of men are not having that process as much. So I would definitely do that, because I haven't literally seen men levitate and shake and all that stuff, but it kind of looks like it. So that would be a good one. And it's very, very energetic for the person giving and the person receiving. And so it is an athletic endeavor, I think, because those wears me out, but it's worth it.
Yeah, that was a good answer. All right, Kendra, if you had a magic wand, right, and you could change.
I do have a magic wand. No.
Okay, but you could change any, not to vibrate, but like a magic wand. If you could change any misconception about the kink community, about kinky people, anything like that, what would you change? Just one misconception.
Of course, that they're not freaks and misfits and so forth. That I find that, like, kink is another word for creative. They're creative people, and they're celebrating life, and they're enjoying pleasures, and they're not denying themselves. So that's what I would say.
Right on. A word for creative. I'm going to use that. Oh my God, I'm going to quote that over and over again until it's in the ground.
Yeah, I have a blog post that uses the word creative in place of kinky, and that's why it gets, people can read it and understand it. So it's called "Why Creative Sex is Better Than Straight Sex," and that's a really good post.
That's as opposed to, you know what, Kendra, you should just say that all of your posts are good posts.
No, I have some ones that should be deleted, but I haven't. People, they're so far down that I would be canceled if you saw them. So I have to go back and clean that up. But I never have the time because I'm too busy.
You just gave our listeners a quest.
Oh my God, please don't. Oh my gosh. But do keyword searches. That's, if you have any interest, do a keyword search. It's been covered.
Do you preach hate? I'm asking you right now. Do you preach hate on your blog?
Do I what?
Do you preach hate?
What is that word?
Do you preach hate? Do any preach hate? You said you were going to get canceled. Yeah. You said you were going to get canceled. Like, are you a Nazi?
Oh gosh, no.
Oh, say, didn't think so. All right. No. So you're fine. Oh, you're right about sex.
Yeah.
Don't be a Nazi, please.
No, I don't like all that stuff. I love love.
Yeah, neither do I.
Let's talk about that. I'm doing good work.
Yes. That's what we are. We're healers.
And I'm fucking smart. I know things. Like, I question things. I research things. I look things up, and I make decisions, and I can change my mind. And so I wish more people were open to that. Platforms are always changing.
Surprisingly, I'm getting some love from FetLife these days, more than usual. I think because Twitter or X has become like a toilet. It's just not really, the vibe is just not there. What platforms are you using these days, and what do you think you're going to use in the future?
Oh, okay. So I do have a FetLife account that I keep forgetting about. So I only log in once every 3 months, and it's, my handle on there is The Beautiful Kind, all one word. I don't really use it because I found it to be, the St. Louis scene is not that great in my opinion, but I am so sick of being censored on the internet. I am so sick of creating accounts and payment options that get shut down all the time. So I do have a Facebook page that's personal, just for my friends and family, not for promoting myself. I'm not on Instagram because too many friends have been canceled on Instagram. I'm not on Twitter, obviously, because I had 6,000 followers there and I worked so hard on it, but I deleted that at a certain time and I moved over to Blue Sky. And Blue Sky has been very sex positive, sex worker friendly. They allow artistic nudes. And so I enjoy posting that because I'm an exhibitionist. So Blue Sky is good, but they said they're updating their terms and services in October. So I'm wanting to see what that's all about. And then YouTube, it has a bunch of censorship as well. So I'm glad that you're able to talk about these things on YouTube. So I don't know, because the internet's like, I don't feel safe on it because I want to express myself and not like, like I'm not on TikTok. I'm not on these things because everyone has to say things like eggplant and saxophone. And it's like, oh my gosh, are we children? Are we like, what are we doing here? So real life, I don't know. And that's why I do real life meetups and people and stuff. I don't know.
Real life. Yes. Real life. Very important. Fantasy controls the kink community in my world. In my world, seriously, it got me through the liver transplant. A fantasy that I'd survive and I'd write my next book. I'd go literally detailed fantasy, and it's all coming true.
Oh my gosh! Isn't it wonderful making your dreams come true and then facilitating others as well?
I'm trying, and it's and I'm very thankful for the kink community. But I'm a person, you're a whimsical person. Let's be whimsical. Let's say you had endless resources. You can go anywhere in the world. You could do anything you want with anybody you want.
Oh.
What is your ultimate kinky fantasy?
Oh, kinky. But I really have done everything. I really have. But a kinky fantasy, I would love to go to a really cool sex club in Germany or someplace that is really positive for women. I've been to one in Toronto that was really fun, but I'd like to go to one that is really fantastic and has the medical role play room and has the different school room and different places like that, those stations they have. And I just talked to someone I think there's one in San Francisco that has some kind of setup like that, like a dungeon that's so comprehensive. That would be fun to have, like be a grown-up kid in a candy store. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what all's out there.
All right. Rapid fire recommendations. They don't have to be kink related, but it's always fun when they are. And they don't have to be the be all end all of who you are. It's just something, oh, this is cool. I think you like this. So I'm going to go down the list. Recommend a film.
Well, it comes to mind. I love Tombstone. That's part of, like, my real name is Kendra Holliday, and I love Doc Holliday. So Tombstone's a classic. And I loved American Beauty as well.
I'll be your Huckleberry. Do you think American Beauty, do you think that aged well?
No, I haven't seen it in a while, but I watched it many, many times. And
watch it again. Actually, I want to watch it again. See how it aged, because a lot of critics and I love movies and I love films. I listen to podcasts and they're like, yeah, that hasn't aged well. And I remember, let me put it this way, American Beauty, the kiss between Kevin Spacey and Mira Sorvino was nominated for the best kiss in the MTV Viewers' Choice Award.
Oh my gosh. Well, that tracks, I guess.
That's
donation or whatever, but and of course this whole word pedophilia is a misnomer. It's hebephilia. However you pronounce that. Hebephilia is when you're attracted to teenage people.
All right. Recommend rapid fire recommendations. Recommend a book.
Oh gosh. Oh my God. So that's my biggest thing. I love books so much. And so
any book. It doesn't have to be the be all end all. Just a book you think I'd like.
What's a book you think I'd like? I think that there's some that men like more than women. And so The Alchemist is pretty popular. And I did love Gone with the Wind. That's a classic, but that one is so what do you call it? Problematic. Oh my God. There's a book called that Andrew Solomon wrote that is called Far from the Tree. And that's beautiful. That's a book all about children who have come from parents that they're not like. So, for instance, parents who have a child with autism, or parents who have a deaf child, or parents who have, something that's different from their family origin story, and then they learn how to embrace and support. And it goes through the positives and the tragedies of these different situations because of how much our society misunderstands a lot of these things. So that's a good one.
I recommend a meal.
So I like funky food a lot. And so one of my favorite restaurants in St. Louis is Mescarim, and it's Ethiopian food. And I love it. I love it. I get the vegan platter, and it's all these lentils and greens on this injera bread that I love to scoop up and eat. You get to eat with your hands. And I call it spicy baby food because it's, oh my God, so good. And I always get a double portion so I can eat it later. And it just stains your fingers, and it's so good. Oh, I love spices. I like spicy stuff.
Word association game. I'm going to say a word or a phrase, right? You say the first thing that comes to your mind. Right? So if I say chastity, you might say lock, right? But if I say chastity and you're thinking of sushi, you can say sushi. There's no wrong answer. The only thing I ask of you is please don't kink shame. I'm going to say something that you're probably not going to like. Please just say not my thing, right?
Okay.
All right. And then there's the jar. I don't know what's in the jar. This is Tangled Blue. I miss you. I talked to Tangled Blue today.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Did you say?
She inspired.
Wait,
She inspired this game. Tangled Blue inspired this game. This is a jar.
Is that Tanga?
No, this is a jar filled with
got it.
pieces of paper. We're going to play the word association game.
Okay, gotcha.
So I don't know what I'm pulling out of this jar. We're in this together, okay?
Okay.
All right, word association game. And it's rapid fire. First thing that comes to your head, right? Chastity.
Blues.
Spanking.
Sensation.
Face slapping.
Not my thing.
Scarification.
Beautiful.
Splashing.
Fun.
French maid outfits.
Sexy.
The 50s housewife dynamic.
Kinky.
Primal play.
My favorite.
Fire play.
Heat wave.
Going in the jar. Milking machine.
Dairy.
Yeah. Human sacrifice.
Aztec. Could be Mayan.
Ambience.
Sounds.
Whipping.
Ow.
Piss.
Golden.
And finally, we reach the end. Scat.
Yuck.
Narcissistic Miss So says, check out Apollosa at Harris. That's good. Tombstone. This was a great movie.
Aw, thanks for being with me.
Dom Danielle says, I want to hear what Kendra thinks about the movie Happiness. Oh, no.
I don't know if I saw that one. Is that the one with the blonde guy?
It's a disturbing movie. It's a very, very disturbing movie. Yes, definitely. Okay, we're wrapping it up. In what ways can kinky people help each other?
Try to meet in real life and have the munches and be able to mingle together and to provide safe spaces for people to explore.
Okay. What advice would you give to yourself that you wish you gave soon, that you wish you'd learned?
Oh my God. I didn't know about ethical non-monogamy until I was in my 30s. So I wish I would have known about that when I was a teenager.
But Kendra, we're all looking for something. Where do you want your kinky path to take you next?
Well, I had a gangbang for my 40th birthday, and now I'm 52, and I haven't done that since. And so I've already done that. But my kinky thing next, just I've been tying up, restraining men a lot with the Velcro restraints. And I do such a wonderful thing. It's so beautiful that I haven't had that done in a while. So that's actually been on my mind. And it sounds so basic, but I would like for my partner to restrain me to the bed, and I love when he objectifies me and does primal stuff.
What do you like him to say when he objectifies you?
What do I like him to say?
Yeah.
Oh,
or what do you like to hear?
Oh, yeah. Like I like for him to say, I'm going to use you. I'm going to use your hole. I'm going to, like, I need to come. You're going to make me come. Like just hold still, and this won't take long. And, like that. I think it's so hot. Oh my gosh. And so with clients, I have to do so much, and then he just does the thing, and he does the driving, and I love it.
You need balance in life, don't you? It's very important.
Oh, yes, definitely.
So, Kendra, this is it. Complete this sentence. Life is.
Oh, life is beautiful. That's the movie soundtrack I was listening to when I was going in labor in 2000. And that movie, I wept and my water broke, and I love that. Life is beautiful.
Thank you. Oh, Stan Vladimir has one. We didn't do the Stan question. If you could have any superpower, what would it be, and how would you use it in your kinky life?
In my kinky life, dang, that's like a mixed message metaphor thing or something, because if I had a superpower, I would take the hate, violent, warmongering stuff out of people's brains so that they knew that they don't have to be chimpanzees in our society. They could be bonobos, and they could share resources, and the more you share, the better our society is. I really believe that. And too many people are gimme, grabby, greedy, and too many people are exploiting each other. And so I wish I could teach people to share resources and lift each other up. That would be ideal. But as far as, gosh, what a superpower in the kink world, I think it would be great to, this is so rude, but I wish I knew how to get men give me lots and lots and lots of money, and they just worship at the temple, and they appreciate my presence, and they are grateful for it, and they like my female energy and all the things I have to offer, instead of them trying to always try to get more and push boundaries and stuff, for sure.
I mean, I'm surprised. I asked that question to many people, and they'll make joke about it, but they don't say, like, you know what? I wish my superpower was just literally just be a money magnet. Just be like, it's just like people just want to get, hi, here's $1 million.
But you know what? I'm live within my means, and I have goals, and I have my shit together, and I know I'm privileged. And so when I get the money from the rich golf players and the people who are millionaires, and when I get that money, I definitely self-care. I take care of myself, but I share it with people. And I also offer prorate for people that are on fixed income. And so the people that can afford it, they pay premium, and then I'm able to give reduced rates to people with disability and different, situations like that. And that, I think, is really important.
Well said. Thank you for expressing that. Kendra, this has been an absolute pleasure to talk with you. I mean,
thank you so much.
Sarah, you truly capture the vibe that I love about the kink community.
And you know so many good people. I know that you have so many connections, and so I'm glad to be part, and I hope I've made some new kinky friends.
Oh, you sure did. You sure did. Everybody, please go to Kendra's blog, beautifulkind.com, for the juicy stuff. I have all the links. I'll post everything.
Oh, thanks.
It's a great blog. Like the dad story alone should pique your interest to go to see the other stuff too. I thought that was, that touched my heart too. Shout out to all the dads in this world who show up.
Daddies. I love daddies.
I love my pop. I love my dad. And Everybody, go out there, read a book. It's good. Hold it in your hand. Your kinky friends. This whole podcast is made basically because I wanted to promote this book. So it's rough being an indie author out there. Oh, and Kendra, you were talking about not fitting in growing up in the like late 80s, early 90s. That's what this is all about. This is me as a teen.
Oh, cool. Okay. Since I haven't ordered or gotten your books yet, and I'm such a reader that I'll definitely need to.
And finally, the coolest way to kill yourself.
It'll be relatable content, I'm sure.
This book is filled with kinky sex, hard drugs, and endless music references. It's a memoir, and I started working on heavily now. I'm in it. I'm working on The Coolest Way to Save My Life, which is about getting a liver transplant at the height of COVID. And it's a tribute to the woman who saved my life, in many ways. It has to be written.
I'm glad to know you, and I cannot imagine those things. It's nice to share experiences that we have no idea about. It's a lot of us. So thank you for that.
And thank you, Kendra. Thank you. I would love, please come back on the show again. Everybody, Kink Helps Kink. We have an art and poetry project coming on, and that includes photography and music as well. That's considered art. The theme is Kink Helps Kink. Submit your poem to me at Friends Kinky, or through Instagram, FetLife, or X. Anyway, you can get in touch with me. Go to yourkinkyfriends.com. Kink Helps Kink. That's a theme. Anything that Kink Helps Kink. If it's art, if it's poetry, a song, a story, just get at me. Let me know. Putting something together really, really. That's what I do. I say it's the end of the show.
All right.
Cool.
Well, thank you so much again.
Keep an open mind, everybody. Oh, we gotta play the theme song. I almost forgot. It's gonna be a great week.